So I'm standing next to what we call FV13, which is the first of several foudres that we got. A foudre is a large oak tank used for aging beer in. You know, it's an old wine tank used for long-term aging and souring of beer. Much like the smaller barrels in here, it's formerly a wine barrel. Came to us after a winery was basically done using it. So a large foudre like this gives us a whole nother kind of method to add some unique flavors to beer. This is a wine barrel as well, but much larger. It holds 2,700 gallons, so quite a bit bigger. And the reactions that happen inside this barrel are quite a bit different than what you get in a small barrel.
Scientifically, yes, there is a difference between what happens in the larger barrels versus the smaller barrels.
We called it FV13 because at the time when the barrel came in, we had just finished receiving some fermenters in stainless steel fermenters. Would have been FV13, but being superstitious folks, we decided to skip that one altogether. So not long after that, we got this tank in and decided it would be nice to call this one FV13. So that's the name that it got, and this is the first beer that came out of it, which we're also calling FV13.
It started life in a stainless steel fermenter with our house yeast, and primary fermentation took place. Following that, we moved it into our foudre, and for there it stayed for a long time. And 4 years is an awful long time if you think about what's happened over the past 4 years in your life. It's a long time for beer too.
And we add 2 different kinds of Brettanomyces, some lactobacillus, some cherry yeast.
And also pediococcus. The pediococcus, after looking at the microscope, did the majority of the souring of this beer. When you look under the microscope, you're going to see many different yeasts. You're going to see our house yeast, cherry yeast, various strains of Brettanomyces, and also, lastly, our reserve yeast.
And with a lot of patience, over time, the beer will develop into what we have here. You know, amber-colored beer, about 9%, that has a little bit more of an oxidation effect to it, some sherry, port characteristics. But you still, in the end, get a nice gentle acidity as well, some caramel flavors. So kind of a little different than some of the other sour beers that we've done in this room.
But one of the things that I'm most proud about, and certainly what I like to talk to people about, is the amount of work that it takes to get a beer from a 2,700 gallon oak vessel, a foudre, into your glass. It's not like a regular beer. It doesn't come from a fermenter. It goes into this tiny Sputnik, and this tiny Sputnik holds around 300 gallons. So you can imagine it takes a lot of bottling efforts on that small 4-head filler. Every time you want to do a bottling run of the foudre beer, of the FV13, you have to rack off into a Sputnik. You have to test the beer and dose it separately. So over and over again, we get to set up the wild dosing equipment and get out the little 4-head filler and the hand corker and the hand hooder, and the entire crew gets to put as many bottles as we can fit out of this guy into our little wooden crates. It's a labor. Even the labeling of this beer is different than a regular production run. The labels are made on an old 1940s era Heidelberg printing press, and it still runs like a top. The labels are beautiful. We're
pretty excited that this beer is finally out after 4 years of waiting, and excited that because of the size of the tank, we can get enough beer to get that out to our full distribution channel on a small scale, but outside of just selling them here at the brewery like we've done with the other small bottle releases.
We're all really proud of FV13, how much work goes into it. We're proud of the way it came out. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it. We want people to try these beers. We want as many people as possible to try these beers, so I'm proud of all the work that we put into it.
Cheers.